Well, we are gearing up for the Blue Nose Marathon this weekend, so it might be a little bit rainy for some, but if you are participating, you're going to want to listen very carefully to this segment because, of course, dietitian Angela Dufour joins us to share some tips on fueling ahead of a big race. Yep. Yeah, so for me personally, I like to fuel with a cheeseburger before I go lift weights. Not the greatest idea.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. Because you know what? You spend hours and weeks and months training for, sometimes it's your first event, sometimes it's your 100th event. So I always say training is like, and with food is like training your gut as well. So we don't want to try anything that I'm going to talk about today tomorrow. If you're racing tomorrow, you probably want to try it well in advance, right? So if that's what you're used to, hey, then go for it.
I like you. You can stay. All right, but for those who were looking to prep a little bit earlier, what does prep look like?
Right. So there's a lot of myths around carbo loading, right? So lots of pasta and rice and grains, and it doesn't actually have to be an enormous amount of carbohydrates. You're just looking at probably 1 to 2 servings extra with a taper. So you're actually giving that body a chance to retain and absorb those carbohydrates, gearing up for that race. So it's not about a week long, it's really just about a couple days adding a little bit of extra carbs, fruits, dairy, grains, etc.
Gotcha.
So yeah. What we want to talk about, what is the best thing to have before? I always get that question, right? It's $1 million question. So we're going to talk a little bit about caffeine because, again, something that you probably want to try in training, not just on the first day, but giving you that little bit of a boost and reducing that time to fatigue. So that's really kind of the premise behind caffeine. And again, this is a great California prune. Yes, there are California prunes in there. Espresso, latte, caramel latte. So we're going to make that. It's great. Little blender, away you go. So you need about 100 to 200 milligrams of caffeine. Okay. So that's about like an hour to 2 hours before. It depends. Everybody's really different. And then we want to focus on carbs. So a nice bowl of, this is a California prune oat pudding. It's made with milk and yogurt and obviously California prunes topped with some maple syrup. Great carbohydrate, pair it with some orange juice. That's a great 2 hours probably before your race starts.
Orange juice you squeezed yourself.
I heard that this morning. Whatever works.
All right, then when we're actually in race.
So again, a lot of myths around what's the right drink. You want to think hydration and you want to think refuel because your fuel tank only lasts up to about 45 minutes.
Oh, that's it.
So again, I call it the gas tank or the glycogen tank because that carbohydrate is stored in the liver and muscle. Okay. And it only is for about 45 minutes. So top with a carbohydrate sports drink, not just an electrolyte drink. If you're doing something that's less than, an hour or 45 minutes, sure, electrolyte drinks would be fine. But if you want to get that 30 to 60 grams of carbohydrate in, so you're looking at gels, you're looking at chews, a whole gel would be about 25 grams of carbohydrate. So pairing that with your carbohydrate sports drink will get you into that kind of 30 to 60 grams per hour.
Keeping that energy up.
Yeah, and you've got to keep it every 15 to 20 minutes, Brianne. That's kind of what we're saying is you need to kind of take a sip, take a couple chews, take some 3 to 4 California prunes, great source of slow digesting carbohydrates. Right. So those are great. Or energy balls.
I love energy balls. They're the best.
Exactly. So really quick and convenient. If you've got one of these and you have a little pouch, you can put that in there. And I always like to do like my hourly bags. If anyone knows me and knows my clients, we call them our hourly nutrition bags. So after an hour, all that should be gone with probably a whole bottle of your drink. So,
all right. So we're almost out of time here. So what do we need to do post?
Post recovery, 4 hours. Rest. After. Refuel, rehydrate, and reload. So replenish that carbohydrate. 30, a minimum, between 25 and 30 grams of protein, and then 3 times that for carbohydrate. Ooh. Yeah, within the first hour, and then you probably want to repeat that again within the 2 hours. You're going to have a nice meal, etc. So something that's really convenient. Again, you can pop some. I love California prunes. They're versatile. You can take some of those with an actual drink or a dairy that's got, again, some high protein in it. That's going to be a quick sort of recovery.
Amazing. This is all such great information. I love it.